Now coming to the cycle monitoring. When you are monitoring the cycles, you have to monitor the number and size of the follicles, and at the same time don't forget the endometrium, that is the pattern and thickness of endometrium. So what you all will be monitoring when you are calling her for transvaginal ultrasound, you will be seeing for the number of follicles, the size of the follicles, whether the follicle is dominant or not. You will be focusing on the endometrium, and of course you will be looking for adnexal pathologies. So how often you should call her? Of course, for baseline scan, that is day 2 to day 3 scan, the purpose is not only counting your antral follicular count, but you should see whether there are any retention cysts, whether there is any hemorrhagic cyst. So you should look out for these cysts also in the ovaries before proceeding with your ovulation induction. Now the frequency of follicular tracking, it depends on stage of follicle development. Like if it is early follicular phase, you can call her safely after every 2 to 3 days. Around peri-ovulation phase, call her every alternate day. And if she is approaching ovulation and she is on gonadotrophins, of course you have to call her daily. But these are very critical decisions. On one hand, you have to have safety, but on the other hand, you have to see for the cost involved with the patient as well. So you have to be very, very judicious when you are deciding about the follicular tracking and the frequency of your follicular tracking. Follicle which is more than 10 millimeter, it grows at a rate of 2 to 3 millimeter. So now you all know how to decide the monitoring visits with your patient. 2 to 3 millimeter per day. A mature follicle will be round, thin-walled with no internal echoes, as you all can see in this slide. So you can very well know, yes, this follicle is mature. It will be thin wall, regular, no echogenicity in the lumen, and it will show a thin hypoechoic rim surrounding the follicle, and sometimes you can see the cumulus-like shadow in the follicle. A flimsy irregular line is seen inside the follicle parallel to the wall about 6 to 10 hours before rupture. तुम्हारा pointer चालू कर दे. Whenever you are counseling your patients, we loosely use the term egg or the oocytes. But remember, follicles are not oocytes. We really don't know whether that particular follicle is having oocyte or not. So I tell them, like a grape, we really don't know whether there is a seed inside or not. It's like a follicle. We as a clinician, we see only the follicle, that is a fluid filled follicle. We don't know whether egg is inside or not. So whenever you are counseling, be very, very clear, because they will say, doctor, you said 4 follicles, 6 follicles, and why I have not conceived. So make it clear. Then what are the features of ovulation? Follicle will suddenly collapse. If you are doing your own, how many of you are doing your own ovulation monitoring, or you are dependent on radiologist? Why you are not doing? You all should do, because it gives us so much clarity. Radiologists will just document the size and will send back to you. But the minor things you only will be able to pick up. And there are so many things which we have to pick up. So if you start doing your own ovulation monitoring, your IUI success rate will really increase. So the follicle will suddenly collapse, margins will become irregular, and you will have mild fluid in the pouch of Douglas. Now Doppler has come in the follicular monitoring recently. So the Doppler flow studies, they definitely help you in knowing which are the mature follicles. A mature follicle will show vascularity in at least 3/4 of the follicular circumference. PSV will be more than 10 centimeter per second, and this is the right time to give SCG trigger. This is the prospective study published in, I think, 2024, where they have documented role of color Doppler was there for IVF monitoring, follicular monitoring. But now this paper is saying that if we can incorporate Doppler in our day-to-day practice for IUI follicle tracking as well, it will definitely increase the success rate of our IUI cycles. So these are the Doppler features which I have already told you. On pulse Doppler, these blood vessels will show an RI of 0.4 to 0.484, PSV of more than 10. But whenever you are doing the settings for color Doppler, they are set at 0.3 and wall filter at the lowest. The perifollicular vessels are only those that obliterate the follicular wall with color. If the follicular wall is seen and the vessel is seen just beside it, it is not a perifollicular vessel. So you should know how to do the setting of your color Doppler. Now the color Doppler role is there in the endometrial evaluation as well. It is not only for the follicle. They are saying that if you are doing color Doppler, do it for the endometrium as well. So now coming to the endometrium, because we should have an optimum endometrial thickness, and not only thickness but the morphology as well, before we proceed and do the IUI. So I hope you all can see these three figures, that popularly the multi-layered endometrium is considered as a desired endometrial pattern. Morphologically, the endometrium is graded as the best grade, that is A grade, when it is triple line endometrium, with the intervening area as hypoechoic as the anterior myometrium. The echogenicity of this endometrium is attributed to the development of multiple vessels penetrating in the endometrium, producing multiple tissue interfaces and therefore causing the echogenicity, and due to glycogen storage in the endometrial columnar epithelium. Figure 12, you can see that grade A endometrium. Grade B, you can see in the next figure, that is the endometrium is graded as intermediate or grade B when it is multi-layered or triple line with hypoechoic intervening area. And in grade C, the most unfavorable endometrium, it will be a homogeneous isoechoic endometrium. So now we know the grade A, grade B and grade C of the endometrium. Though there are several studies which shows that it does not have any significant difference whether you have grade A, grade B or grade C endometrium at the time of doing your IUI. But logically speaking, we all wish to have grade A endometrium. When you want to do the Doppler studies of this endometrium, then we don't have Doppler ka figure. This was the prospective study. This is again published in 2024 only, where they have emphasized the color Doppler monitoring of the endometrium as well. And this is the classification according to the color Doppler, that is pattern A, where you are seeing the same features, pattern B, that is intermediate, and pattern C. According to the blood flow, it can be having a zone A where no endometrial blood flow is detected, zone B subendometrial blood flow is detected, and in zone C both endometrial and subendometrial blood flow is detected. So on the basis of vascularity, they said that grade 1 and grade 2, that is Doppler, it is reverse. They were categorized as low grade because here this is again the study which has shown a prospective study where they have divided vascularity of the follicle into four things, and they have labeled follicles as grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 and grade 4. Grade 1, 25% of circumference there is blood flow, grade 2 50%, grade 3 50 to 70% and grade 4 75 to 100% of the blood flow is there. And in this context, the study is saying that grade 1 and grade 2 are low grade follicles where pregnancy rate will be lower as compared to the grade 3 and grade 4. So I have told you about the features of mature follicle on 2D ultrasound, on color Doppler. Then features of a good endometrium on 2D ultrasound and on color Doppler. I am just skipping the theoretical slide so that Dr. Kersey can take over from me and he can start telling you about the semen analysis thing. The optimal endometrial thickness should be between 9 to 10 millimeter. But we never cancel any cycle if it is more than 6 millimeter. Of course, we want it optimum, that is 8 to 10, but up to 6 millimeter you can do IUI. If it is less than 6 millimeter, then of course you have to pause, you have to look back. What is the reason for thin endometrium? Whether it is infection, whether it is internal synecdoche, you have to do hysteroscopy, you have to cut those synecdoche. That is, you have to work on that thin endometrium before you proceed with the next cycle. So you all can take again a screenshot when you are doing follicular monitoring. This is the follicle and this is the endometrium. The size, follicle should be 16 to 18, endometrium 8 to 10. Morphology of the follicle should be thin wall, no internal echoes, there should be halo. Endometrium should be grade A or grade B. When it comes to vascularity, it should be 3/4 of the circumference of follicle, and in endometrium, it should have vascularity that is zone 3 and 4. RI should be 0.4 to 0.48 for the follicle and less than 0.5 for the endometrium. PSV for the follicle should be more than 10 centimeter per second. Uterine artery PI should be less than 3.2 for endometrium. Volume of the follicle should be 3 to 7 cc and endometrium same. If you are doing 3D, then you should be able to see cumulus in the follicle and intact endomyometrial junction, but routinely we are not doing 3D when it comes to the IUI. Neither we are doing 3D power Doppler. So the follicular tracking of both, when we say follicular tracking, it includes endometrium as well. It is very, very important because it tells us how far this woman is responding to our ovulation agents, how far we should adjust the drugs of the ovulation, when is the lead follicle, when we should give trigger. So these are the components and these are our aims and goals when we are doing follicular monitoring.